Jim Kellner.
Hello, I didn't hear our music this time. Bummer.
Oh.
Let's get me all pumped up.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Welcome. How are you? How's your week been?
Oh, dude, I just got back into town yesterday from Phoenix. I had one of those weekends where I had 3 events in 3 days, 2 on 1. I had 1 day off in between. I basically stayed in bed most of the day.
They're the best days.
Really? Yeah.
I saw your. In fact, have I got a link for it? Have I got a link for it? Am I prepared? I downloaded the picture. I've not got a link for it. But yeah, I saw you. You were performing in an awesome auditorium.
Awesome, beautiful. Yeah. In kind of a smaller town, I thought in Arizona, and it was a website. You know, it's so funny. I remember at Hypno last year, I was telling a friend, you got to get a website. And some woman that was there, she goes, "Oh, you don't need a website. You got to go on just social media." And I was like, okay. And I said, "No, you need a." She wanted to argue with me. Turns out she doesn't even practice hypnosis. She's a real estate agent and she's doing it. And I'll tell you, nobody's ever asked me for my LinkedIn profile, but they've asked for my website.
Yeah.
When they want to book a show.
Yeah.
So, and it was just a fantastic experience. 2,000 kids from elementary school up to high school. It was loud. My Apple Watch, I got 2 warnings on it for loudness.
Nice. I saw the clip you did and it's a great tip, and we'll use it now, so then we don't get to use it in the pro tip section of the show, right. Where you've kind of done the whole, make some noise for TikTok, and really kind of got them engaged for that. And I think that's a great thing to do, especially for stage guys. To get them excited for TikTok, because the young people, Jim, the kids today, they're all about TikTok. Whereas, in the olden days, we used to kind of say as stage hypnotician, it's going to be filmed. This might be on TV. Now, doing the whole TikTok thing drives them nuts. So really great. And it looks. What was it? Any new learnings for working a room that size?
There was, and so. I tend to base the number of chairs I'm going to have up there on the audience. And I thought, well, we'll need 30 chairs, maybe even 40. I stuck with 30, and it was too many. It doesn't matter how many. This is what I realized. Actually, I could have had just 10 chairs, really, because it's not about. I always want to bring a variety of ages up, but the little kids, they're not that great anyway. Yeah. So I think you kind of have to err on the side of who's going to be your best subject, because some of them, like the little 8-year-olds and stuff, now sometimes they'll go into trance. They really will, but sometimes they're just not great at it, at being volunteers. And so they weren't very good subjects, but I wanted to get them involved too. But I think it's better to let them be involved from the audience.
Yeah. I mean, for me as a Brit, it's always weird to hear that, because like here in the UK, you've got to be over 18 to be, on stage. But weirdly, like I'll do holiday parks, so there's kids in the audience, and they're always so keen and so loud.
Yeah.
But I want to involve them as much as I can. So, but like you said, it's difficult to do that. So yeah, no, but it looked amazing. And like you said, the noise from them was just spectacular. So yeah, you are a true rock star.
It felt like being a rock star. It really did. I finally had to go, okay, when I do like this, that means stop, because it was just so much cheering. Nice. And then I got a bunch of new followers on TikTok. A bunch of them talk about how great it was, and even over on YouTube, I got a few. So, it really helps your followers, guys.
I've just got, and I should keep it a secret really, but I'm not. But I've just got some new roller banners for the show with NFC on them. So literally, all someone has to do with their phone is touch it on the banner, and it brings up straight up to a Linktree account now. So that really pleased with that. So yeah,
that's the great thing about this show is it's not just news; it is riddled with pro tips.
Exactly. Well, I mean, do you know what? That's what it is. Speaking of pro tips, conference news. Is that a new beard, Jim?
Is it what?
Is it a new beard?
I just didn't shave for a couple of days.
I know, it suits you. It suits you. Heartland's Hypnosis Conference is coming up. That's in April. This is a great conference. I love how they have the metaphysical, clinical, NLP and stage. that's a right mix. So no matter what you're into, there's something there for you, really. I do like that.
Yeah, and very organized in that way. You might find some of those classes at other places, but it's very organized. So if you're really just into spiritual stuff, boom, you've got your spiritual track. If you just want stage, you've got that. And then of course William Mitchell. I mean, if you're a seasoned stage hypnotist, you ought to be going to this conference because it's going to pay for itself. He's going to get you a show. It doesn't pay as much out in the Midwest, maybe $800, $1,000, but basically, well, it won't pay for Grant's trip. It'll pay for my trip. I'm not coming as far.
Yeah, but it's do you know what it's about? It's one of those. For me, it's just a great conference, great networking. Although I did find, and I think I'm gonna show this picture in next week's show, a great photo of me and you, and we both look very young and fresh faced. I think it was 2018, 2019 at Hypno Biz.
Hypno Biz. Oh yes,
yeah, it's a great picture.
Did look very young. Yes.
So, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, we're both at Heartland this year. We're both doing talks and stuff there as well.
God, we got so much. I know I'm doing a pre-conference. I think you're doing a pre-conference. Grant doesn't know if he is or not because he doesn't know what he put in for. We're doing classes and we're doing the post-conference.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be epic. I'm really looking forward to it as well. But my learning as a Brit, every time I come over, I've always hired something different. I've done the Mustangs, the big trucks. Last time I did a Dodge. I'm going for a truck again this time. Going back to a car, I felt like I was in a small vehicle, so I'm going to go for a truck this time.
This is funny because you drive a Jag, so I don't know why it's so exciting for you to drive American cars. I guess a truck makes sense.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I love the idea of a truck. So I like to drive different Fords under different guises.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird because as much as I'm a car guy, I'm not a very good driver. And so even as you know, as you've been in the car with me, Jim, it's for me, it's part of the experience. So yeah. Cool. So that is
being in America, you drive an American car. Gotcha.
It's content for the gram. Yeah. Speaking of conferences, but and news at the same time as well, there's the Hypno Calf magazine.
Oh yeah, so cool!
So cool. Yeah. Made its way all the way over from that there US. I did wonder what it was when it came through the office letterbox, but yeah, I was really surprised at the quality of the print of this as well. This is not a cheaply put together magazine. The print quality is exceptional. So yeah, and cover models.
I admit I was surprised too because it's like real magazine quality. It's not just some cheap thing put together. Dan is he's invested a lot of time and money into his his organization.
Oh, I mean, like the MIHC conference, which is another great conference. Like the giveaway prizes, like last year's was amazing. This year's is giving away a Roadcaster sound mixer, which is the top of the tree best you can get. So that he really does. He doesn't do anything by halves. So yeah, great guy.
And double beef for dinner. So
yeah.
2 steaks for dinner. Loved it. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, we need to see if we can get William Mitchell on the show maybe next week or the week after.
Yeah, definitely. And if you know anyone that you think would be a great guest as well, get them on. Otherwise, we'll be forced to pick the guests ourselves, and then it could be anybody.
Right. Could be anybody.
Yeah. In the news, this is from The Independent, which is a UK newspaper. This was a weight loss disaster story. This is a girl who you can tell from reading it, she wasn't probably 100% behind the process. She talks about when she'd gone to see a psychic, and then that really helped with some closure. But then when it came to losing weight for her wedding, she felt like it was a bit expensive, but she went with it anyway. And she talks about the process now. It wasn't for her. She felt scammed. I don't know how genuinely she wanted to get the help or whether she wanted to just create a story. But the hypnotherapist in question, you could see they had good intentions, but probably not as experienced as they, as they could have been, and faced in that situation, and negative stories come out, and that's the unfortunate thing. Sometimes there is bad press out there, and it's easy for it to not necessarily go wrong, but for it to look less effective. So I think when a journalist rings you up to say, we want to do a story where you hypnotize me, I think you've got to be really careful, or at least know your onions first. Don't necessarily let your ego go over and go, it's going to be brilliant, I'll just fly by the seat of my pants, I'll just blag it. And then anything can happen, really. So
I'd want to have a plan in place too. I mean, was it just a one-off, or was it a package, or?
By the sounds of it, price-wise, I think it was a package. But from the story, halfway through the process, she has to be excused to go to the toilet, then comes back in and says, I don't really think this is working. I think I might have been scammed. So, yeah.
Wow. That's not a great,
No.
I'd say not a great client, not a great practitioner.
Yeah, exactly. She says that she felt like he went straight into that salesman patter. And I think hypnosis and sales, they do follow very similar paths. We have got to convince them almost to go into hypnosis. So, but I think if it's done from a non-authentic place, it can come across as salesy and pushy. So, and once that little bug's in the head, maybe that's what stopped her from going to the place where she needed to go to.
I got to say too, I remember I had a client one time who signed on with me, and then later, after our first session, he was like, I got to tell you, I almost didn't do this because you were doing a lot of those things that a salesperson does. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, asking me to what it would be like when I'm successful or something. And I'm like, oh, that's an NLP technique. I'm future pacing, right?
Future pacing,
but it's also used in sales. So we got to be careful about that.
It's one of the things I say to hypnotherapists that come to me about stuff and coaching and that. I was going to say, stop buying hypnosis courses, stop buying hypnosis books, go on a sales and marketing course, because hypnotherapy is very woo-woo. It's still seen that way. Yeah. But because of that, the money for reinvestment into that is very minimal. The money that they invest in the psychology of sales, big companies spend large sums of money on that side of communication, but it's the same thing. So if you know good sales pattern, good closing language, good sales language, that's only going to help you as a therapist, not just for your own sales, but in order to deliver suggestions. So, and like you said, future pacing, all of that NLP stuff is great for sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. What do you want, pro tip or the summit?
Let's talk about the summit first. Yeah. This is exciting.
It is exciting.
I mean, Grant, I can't even tell you how, I can't believe the people that we have that are signed up to be speakers on this, really. I mean, I got a call from somebody today even. It's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I haven't gotten that proposal into you yet. And I don't want to say his name, but this guy's been doing this since the 80s, man. I was like, I can't believe he's calling me on the phone. It's cool. It's cool. And we've got Anthony Gailey, who if you want to do any kind of talking, you want to make some real money, Anthony Gailey's charging $5,000 to $10,000 a gig. Yeah. He's given us 2 hours. He's doing a 2 hour. He's doing a 2 hour talk.
Nice.
And if you want to go to his workshop, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
We got Tom Silver, who's been doing it since the time of,
since
we
the
got
beginning.
so many good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's great. There's such a mixed bag as well of people.
Yeah.
And some controversial. Alex is there, and some people love him or hate him.
Sure.
He is out there, and he's got some great. I was at a training of Alex's this afternoon at the Blackpool Magic Convention, and there was another hypnotist there who is a brilliant stage hypnotist. And halfway through, he actually interrupted the training and said, listen, I'll be honest, and I'm going to swear now, and it's not a word I normally say, but I'm just quoting from him. He went, I'll be honest, he says, everything this guy is saying is absolutely spot on. And he says, I always thought that he, and he quote, this is his words, not mine, he goes, I always thought that he was a cunt, but he is absolutely spot on. And he did nothing but praise him. And it's once you get past that, you kind of got to go, actually, the knowledge that he was delivering, absolutely spot on. And so, yeah, he's going to be there as well. Graham Webber, who's a great guy who crosses that magic and hypnosis and business side of things, is great as well. And again, I was speaking to a couple of people today who are really keen to get on board. But as with everything, they see the link, they forget about it, and then they start to see other people that are on it, and they're like, oh, my goodness, I've got to get on this now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first one.
This is the first one. Exactly. And it's going to be epic. And it's funny because a lot of people are seeing who's on it and going, oh, I'm going to be on it. In fact, the person that called me today was like, oh, I went and saw who's on there, and I remembered that I haven't done mine yet.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be left out.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, here's a funny thing, because so some people are like, well, I got to do this because so-and-so's doing it. I've actually had a couple of people that didn't want to do it because of certain people that are doing it. And I'll tell you, but here's the thing. What I told them is I said, well, so in your opinion, that person's a bad guy. Do you want the bad guy to win?
Yeah.
Because that's all you're doing. You're letting your quote unquote enemy win. And, we're going to have tight control on this. Nobody's going to get out of line. If they get out of line, they get muted, they get dropped.
Yeah.
And if you can put aside, I'm excited because I'm going to learn a lot. I'll be watching every single one of these talks. Put your feelings aside. And here's the thing. So we do have some people that are controversial, but Grant and I decided from the beginning that we weren't going to ban anybody outright. Yeah. So even people that I loathe, they're invited to propose to come on.
When somebody triggers something in you, for whatever reason, you kind of got to go, just what is that? And this is the conversation I had today with Chris Doc Strange, brilliant stage hypnotist. He's got a great book, The Honest Hypnotist Guide, a great stage hypnosis book. And he was saying, do you know what? Rather than us all just doing our own thing and slagging everybody else off and fighting, if we all work together, and that was kind of our ethos and philosophy for setting this up. If we all work as a collective to improve and get better, yes, people are going to have difference of opinions. Some people are going to think that, Jim's better looking than me. Some people will think I'm better looking than Jim. That's people have a different, I know, some people.
We have some blind folks out there, sure.
Exactly. It's about personality. Beauty's only skin deep. But people are always going to prefer one thing over the other. There's always going to be a difference of opinion. It doesn't mean that one's right or wrong, especially when it comes to hypnosis. That whole, state or trait and all of these, I'm right, they're wrong, these different camps. The reality is we're all in this together, and it's all about improving what we're all doing. And stage hypnotists need to step our game up when it comes to that.
Yeah, and something that I mentioned, I think it was during the mastermind that I did with Paul's group last week, was one of the great things about being a comedian when I was a comic is you get to hang out with other comics. You're always at other comic shows because there's like 2 or 3 on a show. You're always watching the headliner when you're coming up, and so you're seeing what they're doing. They're giving you tips afterwards. We don't get that. No. We're out there on our own. We rarely see other hypnotists. And so you just don't, a lot of times we just don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. I think it's Colin Chapman's doing a great talk on like the importance of comedy for hypnotists.
Yeah.
Because, it's so important if you're doing a comedy hypnosis show to, maybe be funny. And you'd be surprised how many, because I love to watch stage hypnosis, but you'd be surprised how many I've seen that just, they miss the comedy bit out. But then at the same time, I've been to shows in the early days where I used to bill myself as a comedy hypnotist, whereas I'd have people coming up to me and kind of going, oh, we didn't realize you were a real hypnotist. We thought you were a comedy hypnotist. And I'm like, what? So, I think that's going to be really interesting. So, again, like presentation skills, all of that stuff is stuff that is going to benefit all of us. And like you said, I'm keen to learn as well. So,
dude. Yeah. I mean, I'll be watching these videos for years to come, probably. You can't digest it all.
Yeah.
Really. And, when we saw Anthony at Heartland last year.
Yeah.
And I got a tip, and I'm not even going to share it with you people. because it's a great tip. And I won out of his 1 hour talk, I got a tip that's already helped me to book more gigs because of this one tip.
Yeah.
This one tip, guys. And you're going to hear it. I mean, if he mentions it on this summit, you'll go, I can't believe I never thought of that. But it's a great tip.
I remember sitting down at lunch at a conference he was at, and just having a conversation over lunch, and he said something, and I'm literally like, I need to remember this. I need to remember this. And it was absolutely, I'd have paid good money just for the tip that he gave me. And I kind of thought that's amazing. And it was just after that he started doing his £5,000 training or $5,000 training. So I was quite pleased, because I think that tip you have to pay $5,000 for now.
Right. Exactly.
and I think, and to be honest, I think it's worth it. I know a UK hypnotist who's done the training with him and is doing the work on the back of that. So to have him on board is amazing. Yeah. I'm excited. So pro tip this week is you, I believe, and I've got to think of a funny story while you do this. so speak slowly, Jim.
Yeah. So Grant mentioned. So earlier, actually, Grant touched on this, the marketing thing. You know, I'm going to beat a dead horse, guys. Learn marketing. I had a couple of experiences. So we had a speaker at the Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference. We're doing an interview and they're brilliant. I mean, they're known by they're world renowned hypnotists. They know a lot of stuff. And they said, well, I've never been a good marketer. And I just want to slap my head and go, then you're lazy. Because there's information out there, guys. It's you. So and I get it. You're spending all your time learning hypnosis, but the hypnosis, I know there's a lot of people out there that are selling courses saying you'll become a 100% referral business. God bless them. But talk to their students. Very few of them are 100% referral businesses, at least at first, maybe after a while. I did an event with somebody a while back, and afterwards, we kind of talked about how many people they were able to get in seats, and they were like, yeah, I've never really been good at that part. And I'm like, that's the content part of a workshop or something is less than how many people you can put in the seats, really. I mean, there's plenty of people that can provide really good quality content. You gotta, if you're doing events, you've got to get people, you got butts in seats. That's it. So you can learn it. There's a lot of people in our profession that teach it. You can also sign up for free courses through Harvard. Many colleges offer free marketing training. So go take advantage of that. Go spend a few hours a month, take a ClickFunnels class, whatever, but learn how to market.
Yeah. You could be the best hypnotist in the world, but if you can't put bums on seats, no one's ever going to know. And marketing, for me, marketing is more important than sales. I always say, sales is an expensive way of kind of dealing with poor marketing. If your marketing's right, the sales will look after themselves. If your marketing's not right, you've got to spend more money on sales. So get your marketing right. Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I had somebody else, another hypnotist, tell me one time, I'm the best kept secret in the business. And I'm like, that's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah. Absolutely. Funny story. I've still got the tag for your MMA fight on there, but I've not got one. I've got an MMA fight story, but that's not the one I'm going to tell.
I can't wait to hear.
Interesting about kind of working with celebrities and stuff. A few years ago, I do a couple of shows a year, which are my shows, four-walled. So I theme them, I dress them, and everything's done. The chairs are done purple. There's black tablecloths out in the main room. And I do this because that's where I get my assets from, my photos for the show, my video clips for the show. It's where I know I've got control. I learned early on, nothing can destroy a good show like having a cameraman with you. Do you know what I mean? So you have a turn up, something's going to go wrong and all that. So I've got complete control over the situation. So they're the shows that I sell my personal tickets for, and that's that. I'll invite agents, I'll invite bookers, and this is not a tip. This is a funny story. Trust me.
I was going to say that's a pro tip right there.
So at the time, it was just around about the time Big Brother. You have Big Brother over there. So that program's on. So anyway, the volunteers are up there. Now I do the shoe phone routine. It's a fairly common-ish one. I mean, the way I do it is so unique.
Brilliant.
But I've looked down and there's a very attractive girl towards my stage right. Very attractive girl. And I could see she's got like boots on, and you know, and I thought this shoe routine's going to be, the audience are going to love it, but I have to protect her dignity. And so for her, I've kind of done you're going to be, you know, crazily attracted to the hypnotist, but you're going to remain in your chair. Anyway, so, and she, you know, she was very open with her attraction, which was nice for the ego.
God bless her. Yeah.
But I kept it clean, kept it safe, kept all of that. After the show, it turns out she was not just a local celebrity. It turns out she was actually just about to go into Celebrity Big Brother. I didn't know this at the time. Quite a well-known model, to be fair. I still follow on Instagram now. I just go, remember me? The following morning, I was inundated. When I say inundated, I'm talking 20, 30, 40 requests, all from middle-aged guys that were at the show that all want to learn how to do hypnosis. And at first you're like, oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. And then you look and you're like, oh, I get it. And I'm like, no. But literally for weeks afterwards, I kept getting requests from people that had obviously been at the show, seen that, and then wanted to learn hypnosis, which is, you know, I mean, it was funny at the time, but also you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful who you teach this stuff to, because every single one of them was a predator.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I always think of those guys. You know, like you see them at hypnothons and stuff too, and you hear about stories from our hypnotist friends that are women, that some guy tried to do that to them, and it's like, they're a hypnotist. Why would you know? And I just want to tell them, like, why don't you spend your time getting a personality or hitting the gym or both?
Yeah. It's I think hypnosis does sometimes attract people that aren't necessarily right for the profession. And I think it's like magician, and I'm not saying anything negative about magicians, but you know, like a lot of magicians get into magic because they couldn't get girls at school, allegedly.
Yeah. And then they think magic's going to help them.
Exactly. But it helps build confidence. It's a great way of talking to people. Sure. I think those that can't do magic then go into hypnosis. So there is some, there is some people in this profession that, that's all I'll say on that. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. But, in the research for this show, in searching for news articles about hypnosis, the amount that have to be weeded out that are about generally a male hypnotherapist that has done something that he shouldn't have done with hypnosis. So, stay vigilant, guys. Yeah.
Stay vigilant, guys. Yeah. Get a personality. You don't need hypnosis to get ladies.
Exactly. Or guys.
Although that's what worked. That's how I got my wife. Anyway. Nothing wrong with using some future pacing and hypnotic language.
Yeah. Your social media with your wife is the cutest thing in the world, to be fair.
Thank you. Thank you.
You make all the rest of us look terrible. Brilliant. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it for us this week.
All right.
Yeah. So guys, if you look at that, we're on our half an hour as well. So guys, if you enjoy the show, please tag your friends that are into hypnosis. Spread the word. And if you've got any interesting news, stories, features, or stuff you want to promote, then let us know.
And we're happy to share your pro tips or funny stories. You can even come on
Absolutely.
and tell your pro tip or funny story, and you'll reach well over a person.
Double
or two.
digits.
Well, yeah, exactly. So come join us.
Come join us. Cool beans. See you next week.